So, we will see about mass contact methods. So, after going through this unit, you will be able to explain or understand about the objectives, dimensions and planning of Kisan Melas, know the purpose, procedure and principles for writing script for radio, understand the purpose, principles and factors to be considered while writing script for TV. So, first we will see what is Kisan Mela. So, Kisan Mela is an organized educational activity for involving and educating farmers by bringing together the farmers, scientists, extension workers, input agencies, development departments and non-governmental agencies on agriculture and or allied aspects at a research station or an agriculturally important education center where the farmers can see, interact and gain first-hand knowledge about the latest technologies and developments in agriculture and allied aspects. It integrates several educational activities specifically directed to the farmers of a region, state or country. So, now let us see the objectives of Kisan Mela. First objective is to provide an opportunity for the farmers to practically witness the new production technologies demonstrated on the agriculture research station and also to inform them about the ongoing research in different aspects. Second objective is to enable the farmers to discuss with the university scientists about the problems relating to agriculture and allied aspects directly. The third objective is to provide an opportunity for the farmers to directly come in contact with the input manufacturers, dealers in agriculture machinery and implements to help the farmers know about the latest agricultural inputs, machinery, equipments etc. available in the market. Fourth objective of Kisan Melas is to help scientists to get feedback on recommended technologies as well as to sensitize them about the farmers' current problems on agriculture and allied aspects. Fifth objective is to develop a habit among farmers to visit research stations frequently to learn about the latest technologies. Sixth, to convince the participants about the applicability of the practice in their own situation. And seventh, to motivate them to adopt the practices by showing its performance and profitability under field conditions. Eighth objective, to remove doubts, superstitions and unfavorable attitude about the new practices. And ninth, to reinforce previous learning about the practice. Now let us see the dimensions of activities. Organizations of crop cafeteria and demonstrations on research station. Number 2, organization of exhibition. Number 3, organization of field visits. Number 4, organizing quiz and discussions among farmers. Number 5, organization of question and answer session. Number 6, organization of recreation and entertainment. Number 7, arranging sale of seeds, seedlings, publications, processed products etc. So, all these dimensions are very important while conducting Kisan Melas. The duration 2 to 3 days is adequate. Date should be fixed at least 1 month in advance. Now, let us see the steps in planning and organization of Kisan Mela. Kisan Mela involves considerable expenditure on part of the organizing institution. It needs a meticulous planning and involvement of state extension agency, input firms and the research organizations. Decide the theme. Fix the Mela date based on convenience of farmers, facilities, climate conditions and good standing crop. Setting up steering by planning committee with head of the institution by research station as chairperson. Appoint Mela officer in charge of all activities. Venue for Mela, this is a very important aspect to be considered. Decide well in advance to grow trial plots, to erect structures etc. on the spot. As far as possible, better decide a permanent spot for each station. Next, constitution of subcommittees. So, several committees like reception committee, publicity committee, guided visit committee, competition committee, program committee, exhibition committee, conference committee and control room committee has to be fixed, formed. Coming to accommodation and transport committee, that is important, healthcare committee, security and service committee. So, all these committees have to be fixed in advance. Organizing. Registration of farmers. It is very vital to know how many farmers have come and attended the program. Form into groups and guide them to the spots on rotation. If the audience or if the farmers are large in number, then you form them into groups so as to make them enabled to visit all the stalls. Scientists ought to be available at the spots to explain the technology and practices and to answer the queries. Next, on completion of the field visit, guide them to visit exhibition stalls where they get some more information on practices with help of scientists. The participants, officials and scientists are seated for the meeting and arrange for distribution of publications. After a brief formality of addresses, emphasize again on the important points of the practices. Invite a few visitors to give their reaction, answer to the questions raised by arranging farmers meet. End the meeting by thanking all for their participation. Distribute the seed packets related to the practice. Follow up. Maintain contact with the participants. Reinforce learning through other mass media. And what is the limitation of Kisan Melas? Cannot be held frequently. Does not facilitate in-depth learning. Next most important mass contact method which is traditionally used is the radio. So, it is a medium for mass communication, a tool for giving information and entertainment. Purpose for which it can be used. 1. To reach large number of people quickly and inexpensively. Number 2. To reach people not reached by other means. Number 3. To stimulate participation in extension through all other media. Number 4. To build enthusiasm and maintain the interest. And coming to the technique or procedure for radio, writing for radio, determine its place in the teaching plan. Be clear about the purpose of your broadcast. Number 3. Keep the interests and needs of the audience in view. Number 4. Select topics of current interest. Number 5. Time the broadcast to synchronize with the farmers' leisure hours. So, farmers will have hectic schedule. So, according to the area, you find out the leisure time and broadcast the radio message. Decide what treatment to give, whether it's straight talk, interview, panel, drama, etc. For writing the script, follow the principles given for writing news articles. Encourage people to listen to rural programs. Encourage them to write to the broadcasting stations about their needs and interests and opinions. Encourage talented local people to participate in the broadcasting. And what are the advantages of radio? It can reach more people more quickly than any other means of communication. It is especially suited to give emergency and timely information. It is relatively cheap, reaches many who read little or none at all, reaches people who are unable to attend the extension meetings. It builds interest in other extension media, possible to do other things while listening. So, you can listen and do the work. And limitations, limited number of broadcasting stations, not within the reach of all farmers, but nowadays all farmers own the radio, television, etc. So, this may not be a major limitation. Recommendations may not apply to individual needs. No turning back if not understood. So, once the broadcast is over, we can't recollect we can't hear it again. Frequently loses out in competition with entertainment. Difficult to check out. So, some points should be considered while writing the script for radio. Radio is considered to be the best and the most effective means of communication for rural audience in our country. Radio broadcasting has become almost a part of daily life. Radio as a media has great potential for creating awareness among farming population about new agricultural technologies, changing their attitudes, stimulating the listeners and motivating them to adopt the technologies. Then we have to follow certain principles while writing the script for radio as put forth by Vohra 1986. who has been producing farm radio programs for over 25 years, has given the following general principles for writing the script for farm radio programs. Number 1, writing for radio is an art to be learned. It is writing in spoken form. It should be easily absorbed by the listener. The listener must understand the conversation. Simplicity is essential. In normal speech, we use simple rather than complicated words and sentences. Repetition of the key ideas is essential. Avoid use of statistics. Careful planning is essential. Maintain continuity of narration in writing a script. There are different modes of presentation. Number 1, straight talk, interview, discussion, conversation, feature, quiz, question and answer, farm news, farm school and air, music, drama, folk arts, announcements, programs. Script, is it necessary? Script is a vital part of the radio program. Script writing is a very vital and essential part of the broadcasting program. The script helps in putting your ideas in a logical sequence and will keep you informed what the listening audience is to be communicated, or in other words, what the message is. Now let us see the parts of an effective script. The first part should be designed to attract the attention of the listeners towards the subject. The second part may analyze the present situation, laying special emphasis on the problem encountered based on local needs. The third part give out facts about the recommended practices and its merits over the previous practices and try to win the confidence of the listener. The fourth section may deal with an appeal to action, and finally the script may end up with a summarization of all the different practices. Writing the script. So before writing, one should determine the purpose first. The objective should be clear. Know the type of listeners to be informed. Also, keep in mind the probable activity which they might be performing while listening. While selecting a subject, ensure that it is relevant, based, suitable to agroclimatic conditions, suitable to season, and reliable. Next, decide the mode of presentation. In which mode you are going to present. Collect all the possible related authentic information for writing. Be sure to include supporting facts and illustrations. Process the information by identifying the main points. So this is what I have said now is the points to be considered before writing. Now we will see the points to be considered while writing. So remember that it is writing for the ear only. Avoid academic style. Avoid jaw-breaking words. Prefer to use local information and experience of farmers. So when you use the information or experience of the farmers, it will be interesting and farmers will tend to listen to the program. Keep listeners' viewpoint in mind at all times. Make listener realize the importance of the program. Be direct and personal. Use statistics sparingly. Be humorous. Time your script. Ideal speed of presentation is 125 to 160 words per minute. Repeat important details. Underline the words to be emphasized. Quote authoritative source wherever necessary. Don't cover many topics. Cut down the use of hissing on the Z words. Mark the points where you are to catch breath. Arrest attention. First 30 seconds are crucial that you are dealing with a free and hot creative audience. Hold attention. Hold the attention continuously through writing. Personal words and local examples appeal to be very emotional. Run down the information point by point. Fire imagination by presenting a picture of the situation which likely emerge after the listener takes the suggested action. So before delivery, you should realize the following points. Before delivering the talk, rehearse it properly. If possible, record it on a tape recorder. Listen to it by putting yourself in the position of a listener. While delivering, let your copy type in double or triple space and use only one side of the page. Punctuate your copy for easy delivery. End the page with complete sentence. Be informal. Be sincere in expression. Do not talk down to the listeners. So this is about how you have to, what are the points you have to consider while writing, before writing, while writing, and after, while delivering the message. Now let us see about the television. So television is also one of the important vital mass media. So television is used for dissemination of information in the rural areas. Television has unique advantages over the other mass media. While it provides words with pictures and sound effects like the movies, it scores over the latter by its high intimacy and reaches the largest number of people at the shortest possible time. The visual in it has the advantage over the radio. Television can deal with topical problems and depict known persons who can provide the solutions. People learn through the eye and well remember things better if they see them. Television viewing does not demand the strain and discipline needed to read the printed medium. The message on the TV screen are pre-selected, sorted out, and then presented in the simplest manner possible. Demonstrations, the need in the farm extension are brought to the farmer by television. This has great value in adopting better farm practices. Apart from the evidence by their own eyes, farmers also respond readily to what is said, especially by other farmers, and if the same points as extension people make in the interpersonal communications are highlighted, the combination is doubly effective. So what is the purpose or objective of using television programs? Number one, to create a general awareness among the people about agriculture and rural development programs. Number two, to provide need-based programs to the rural people. Number three, to show the rural people in general and the farmers in particular what to do, how to do, and with what results. Next, we will see the procedure or techniques while preparing for the TV program. First, planning and preparation. Decide with the producer agriculture programs on the topic, location, and persons to be involved. Also decide on date, time, itinerary, conveyance, etc. Visit the location in advance and select shooting materials and spots. For recording action and how to do sequences, prepare a script to the minutest details. Prepare colorful labels with bold lettering. Inform participants others well in advance. Limit a single day shooting to 2 to 3 locations. And at the implementation stage, take the producer, staff, and equipments to the location in time. In outdoor shooting, take advantages of sunlight and see that no time is wasted. Remind the producer, staff, and participants about the message to be highlighted. Cooperate and assist the TV personnel at work. Take precautions against outside interferences. See that the main theme is brought out and recorded in an understandable and interesting way. And the follow-up of television programs. Check up with the producer whether some studio-based recording is to be incorporated with the outdoor shooting already made. If so, arrange to obtain the date of telecast from the TV station and communicate the same to the participants. Display the date, time, and topic of telecast in information center and the office of the extension agents. Inform and encourage as many persons as possible to see the telecast. Reply to the queries as a result of the telecast. So now let us see the factors to be considered while preparing script for TV program. So agriculture television will pose a number of questions that need to be answered before programs are formulated. There are no ready-made solutions available. We can draw but very little upon the experience of other countries as answers have to suit our conditions. Continuous experimentation is the only way of arriving. It is usual to identify the factors involved in television programs for farmers. Entertainment should be there in the TV program. The main motive behind viewing television is to get entertainment in its widest sense and not with the purpose of learning something. The farmer sits before a television set to spend his leisure time in agreeable manner. Hence, we have to provide the farmer with a clean, good entertainment, interlocking with the messages we need to impart on the farm and the home. Entertainment includes very thing which is pleasant, contains good humor, and which indirectly provides a lot of interest in the idea presented. This calls for good showmanship. So, in any TV program, we should combine both entertainment and the technology to be disseminated. Next important component that should be kept in mind while writing script is timing. So far as timing is concerned, we know that time of day is the most suited for viewing by farmers. Surveys in radio listening have given us a good indication of the most suitable time for television viewing also. However, an important consideration is not to have television farm programs on the days when farmers can profitably spend their time with radio forums or radio charcha mandals. If both these programs are scheduled for the same date and the same hour, they will have to miss one or the other. This is not desirable, as the radio is an established and popular medium with farmers, and they should not be deprived of listening to the favorable broadcast. Again, what is seen on television has to be reinforced through the radio if we desire a fuller impact, and the radio is certainly one of the media which will have to be constantly used in support of television programs. However, radio listening surveys have shown that the most suitable time for farm women when they are free of the household chores is the afternoon. This has to be taken into consideration while planning special programs for women. Next, frequency and length. So, producing a TV program in agriculture would be time consuming if worthwhile programs are to be produced. So, depending upon the program and its content, it may take anywhere between 8 hours and several months to produce an half-an-hour program. Unlike radio, it would be impossible to produce a quality program at short notice in television. The frequency of the program will therefore depend entirely on the manpower, equipments and funds available. Keeping in view the limitations that Indian TV will have in these respects, too frequent programs will not be possible without detrimenting the quality of the program. A program twice a week, at least in the initial years of TV, should be more than ample. Next important aspect is formatting the programs. There are two alternatives available to TV for the format of the program depending upon the content and purpose. First, where the program is on one single message or subject, considerable research and planning will be needed, and hence such a program cannot be at very frequent intervals. It can only be at the most once in a week. The second type contains two or more short items, each item by itself complete, which then will take the form of a magazine. However, it has to be remembered that the rural viewer's mind has to be conditioned to the movement on the TV screen, and as such, very short items which are flicked fast one after another do not usually register themselves. Hence, such items should also be carefully produced, giving time sufficient enough for understanding and absorption in the rural mind. Next important item is content. The content of a program meant for farmers has to serve and has to satisfy the dual purpose of information and entertainment. Information itself has to be presented in an entertaining manner. For this, the broadcaster himself needs to use his talent in showmanship to combine all the ingredients of the program and present it in a pleasant manner to the audience. The content of the program can help the audience if the subject presented is exactly what the audience is interested in and also is presented in an interesting manner. Again, agriculture programs presented with an eye to reinforcing extension effort have to keep the requirements of the extension and advisory specialists in mind, so that take over from the time the TV program ends. To be able to do so, the producer should work with topicality and importance of the subject matter content kept in the forefront. Treatment. So, treatment is related to the content, but whatever the content, what is expected is a good quality not only in the visuals but also in sound. In producing agriculture programs, both studio and outdoor shooting is important. Need for rehearsals. Like research preceding a program, rehearsal is a very important aspect of the telecasting. It will give a good idea of what to avoid, what to introduce in the program. Rehearsals, therefore, should invariably precede actual telecasting. When talks are scheduled, it is necessary that they are accompanied by the use of films or stills, and if possible also by studio demonstrations. So, in this lesson, we have learnt that Kisan Mela is an organized educational activity for involving and educating farmers by bringing together the farmers, scientists, extension workers, input dealers, development departments and non-governmental agencies on agriculture and allied aspects. Writing for radio is an art to be learnt. It is writing for spoken form. It should be easily absorbed by the listeners. The listeners must understand the conversation. The content of the TV program meant for farmers has to serve and has to satisfy the dual purpose of information and entertainment.